Eli Lederman, Eric Bailey, another week of OU spring football. Eric, we're in it. We were out on the practice field in Norman yesterday. We'll be back in Norman tomorrow, and the Sooners just keep chugging. I think that was their second practice in pads yesterday, and with that, you can see the intensity going up. You can hear in what players and coaches have to say the intensity is going up, and we're right in it, almost hitting the midpoint by this time next week is spring practice.
That's crazy when you think about it. This is going to go by so fast. I mean, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, we're in week 2, and they go strong. Like you said, they had Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday last week. They got Monday, Wednesday this week, and I assume the weekend as well. So it was neat seeing them in pads yesterday, and I'm real thankful for Brent Venables, who allows the media to go out there for 45 minutes and observe practice. That's not the norm. It's not what we're used to, but real appreciative of it.
Yeah, and I mean, Eric, I guess actually before we dive into current spring football, I did want to ask you, you had a story that kicked off the week on Sam Bradford, who will be honored, I guess, later this month, and you got a chance to speak with him. So give us the lowdown.
Inducted into the American Indian Hall of Fame at the First Americans Museum in Oklahoma City on April the 28th, 50th anniversary of the hall, and he had a chance to talk to him about that and about a lot of different things. I'm working on a couple stories about the induction ceremony. It was really neat talking to Sam. He was at Disney World with his family when they set up the interview time, so he was just chilling on a bench at Animal Kingdom, talking to me on the phone. Said he was recognized at Disney World a couple of times. People came up and shook his hand, so his face is still familiar with a lot of football fans. So really neat. Got a chance to talk about Jackson Arnold, and he's not really up with the OU football program as much as he was in the past, but he knows who Jackson Arnold is. I asked, what advice would you give Jackson? He said, just go out there, work every day, and enjoy the process. Don't rush things. Be a sponge. Basically what you'd expect from a quarterback talking to a younger player. But the only difference, this is a Heisman winning quarterback at Oklahoma, legend at OU football. So that was a big deal. The fun question was, I said, what do you remember about Brent Venables? Because their lives intertwined a little bit during the 2007, 2008 years, 2009, 2010. I asked Sam about that, and Sam made me laugh. He told a story where in 2006, when he was a redshirt freshman, he was lighting up the first team defense on scout team and just lighting them up. And he said that Venables was so intense, and it was funny because he said that after completing maybe two passes too many, Venables grabbed his face mask and he said, if you complete one more pass, I'm going to turn this into a live tackling drill. So that was it. Sam Bradford's day was over then. So a lot of fun talking to Sam Bradford. He rarely does interviews, so I really appreciate the Hall of Fame putting us in touch with each other.
Well, I'll ask you this. What struck you about 35-year-old Sam Bradford, as in the guy who now it's amazing how far removed in a sense he is from his time at OU and all of that.
It's crazy when you think about it. It's been 15 years since he won the Heisman Trophy. That's a big number. It doesn't just seem like yesterday he was leading the Sooners offense. So just impressed me is that he's just a dad now. He has 3 kids, 5, 3, and 1. His 5-year-old's playing t-ball, so he's a little league dad now, and he's loving every second of that. Him and his wife are just enjoying being a family member, just a family, the Bradford family. They live in Oklahoma City. So just an everyday person who happened to play in the NFL and win a Heisman Trophy. For the Native American community, just incredible story. You don't have a lot of those marquee athletes that win these big awards, but he's a member of the Cherokee Nation. And as a Native American myself, it's just a sense of pride to see him go out there, have success on the football field, and now he's been recognized for what he's done.
Well, it is indeed special, and it'll be pretty cool. I'll be excited for the rest of your coverage on any of this stuff as it comes this coming month with the induction and all that. But to football the present day, we got of the 2 assistants we spoke to last night, Joe John Finley, tight ends coach, safeties coach Brendan Hall, and I spent the most time around Joe John Finley because I think that's a really curious spot for the Sooners this year. Tight end was so important, and Braden Willis was so important to this offense last year, and I think the plan is for that position to remain a productive one for the Sooners. And so now it's a new old face who's going to have to step into that role. Austin Stogner, who's back, spent 3 seasons with the Sooners, left for South Carolina, and now he's back. And, there's the story of how he came back, which was, he made the call. They didn't call him. He called up OU, and he's told that story that he wanted to be back, and they welcomed him with open arms. But now it's a question of, is he the guy to fill that role that, again, was so important for them last year?
Sounds like he's embracing that role, and I had a chance to talk to him just a little bit yesterday. I know you were with him a lot, And, he understands the legacy of that position. When you look at all, he talked about Mark Andrews and Grant Calcaterra, Braden Willis. I mean, just all the different players that have played that position. He knows he has big shoes to fill, but he's willing to do it. And, he got here, I think, 1 year after Kyler did. So you're looking at a guy who's been around quarterbacks, been around Jalen Hurts, been around some really good quarterbacks in OU lore. And he really is impressed with what Dylan Gabriel's doing as well. So I think he understands the role that he has, not only on the field as a productive player, but off the field as a team leader too. He's an elder statesman. He and all of those younger players can look up to him. And I know there's 2 walk-ons in that tight ends room that he's probably mentoring right now. I mean, that tight ends room is pretty beat up, and there's not a lot of guys taking part in spring drills, but that only allows him to get even more reps.
Yeah, Joe John kind of talked about that pitch count when you've already got it's Caden Helms, Jason Llewellyn are both sidelined right now. They don't have a lot. They've got a couple of intriguing walk-ons who are working out at the position, but on the whole, it is Austin Stogner. But what struck me was asking Joe John about what they need from that position, because again, this is a spot that as long as Jeff Lebby is here, that offense is going to be somewhat predicated around a tight end who can do a lot. And he noted that with Braden Willis last year, you had a run blocker, a guy they asked to catch the ball, a guy who took snaps under center and a wildcat. And he said that both with Austin Stogner's skill set, but also his knowledge base. I mean, this is year 5 for him. The only thing he's adjusting to now and learning is how to play in this tempo offense, which according to Austin Stogner has been quite a learning curve. He said the first couple of days of practice, he was gassed, but they seemingly have a guy who has maybe that same football brain that Braden Willis had. And from the sound of it, at least according to Joe John, Finley can replicate some of those versatile things that Braden Willis did. So that would be, I think, an encouraging sign for an offense that's replacing so much of those skill roles.
Eli, something we got to see at practice yesterday was again, 45 minutes of open practice. We saw a lot of drills, but they went to what was called the W drill, when they it's kind of like the Oklahoma drill, where there's a lot of contact, a lot of tackling. It's offense versus defense. And I think yesterday it was at the tail end, right before the media was ushered out. Probably the most exciting thing that I saw. I mean, it was physical. Guys were hitting hard. There were some pads crunching. We're kind of distant a little bit. We're probably 30, 40 yards from the action, but we could see everything. A little bit of a skirmish, I think, between Billy Bowman and Drake Stoops going at it. It's just football. I mean, nothing personal. I mean, you get into it, it's intense, and you almost like to see that, I think, if you're a football fan. I had a chance to ask Robert Spears-Jennings, the safety from Broken Arrow, after practice, how big is the W drill in terms of physicality? Because that's been a topic all season long. Is Brent Venables wants this defense to be more physical, wants his team to be more physical. And Robert Spears-Jennings said we needed that because last year we weren't as physical as we are now. The W drill is just giving our best. You're going against your brother every play, but you're going to talk stuff to each other, but it's all love in the end. So I guess Billy Bowman and Drake Stoops are talking stuff to each other, but it's all love at the end. That's what Robert Spears-Jennings said. But it was fun just seeing these guys hit, and they understand. I mean, from day one, they've understand physicality is going to be a real strong topic for this football team.
Did he really say stuff?
He said stuff. I know, yeah. He knew the cameras were on. And I will say this.
There you go.
So we took video of practice. We always do. When we get a chance, we take video and we tweet out some video. And a lot of times I take 20-second snippets and throw it out there and don't even, okay, I got it, throw it in. Got it, throw it in. Bill Bedenbaugh, okay. Eric got his hand slapped a little bit from OU. Bill Bedenbaugh, hard coaching, dropped a couple F-bombs in the video. Of course, I'm not hearing it. I'm too busy focused on video. We get it up all of a sudden. Oh, crap. So it's on there. And I'm like, that might be. Oh, you said, can you please refrain in the future from, and this is my public apology to the University of Oklahoma, to the football program, to Brent Venables, to Bill Bedenbaugh. Sorry for posting that. But I will say this, the reaction I got from fans, they love it. They said, and one fan said, it's not hard coaching, it's coaching. I mean, and those offensive linemen, man, he has their attention.
Surely the only coach in the country who's using profanity on a practice field. I'm so glad we're not getting that out there. All right, we're going to close out quickly. We got to get out of here. We got DJ Graham, who we heard from really, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time since he made his position change last fall from DB to wide receiver. And I think actually, last year it was a whole thing of, is he going to be playing wide receiver next week? And he didn't wind up doing anything but special teams the second half of the season. But he really got to work with that scout team. And I think that set something of a foundation for him coming into this spring. And he feels confident. Emmett Jones is excited about him. And it really is a wide open wide receivers room. And I know we don't look at him as a veteran wide receiver, but in a room where you've really got Drake Stoops and Jalil Farouk as your veterans, DJ Graham has experience. This is his 4th season. He's been around, so he might be able to fill that role in addition to carving something else out for himself. Eric, another storyline yesterday that we got some clarity on was Peyton Bowen, the 5-star freshman who was absent from practice.
Yeah, it's sad news. You hate to hear this. He tweeted late last night that Saturday morning he lost his sister who gave birth to his niece, Josephine Louise, and it's just a tough time. And all our thoughts and prayers are with the Bowen family during this time. Peyton tweeted out a GoFundMe account to kind of help with the expenses. Just all our thoughts and prayers are with the family on the loss of his sister, Camille. Tough news. And gosh, I mean, football takes a back seat when family comes first always. So Peyton, to the Bowen family, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And then moving forward tomorrow, we are going to have availability with the football team. Well, tonight, I guess it's Wednesday. Or wait, what day? What day is today?
Come on, Eric, it's Tuesday.
I know, I'm getting my days mixed up, man. Everything's running together. Wednesday, we will have availability with the football team. We'll talk to players, coaches. Thursday's pro day. So Thursday's the big day when, I think 17 players are expected to participate, including Justin Broyles and guys that didn't go to I'm trying to think who didn't go to the combine.
I mean, Deshaun White. Well, Gabe Burkett will be back. Interestingly,
so CJ Colden. There's players that are just going to be trying to do something in front of the pro scouts. So that'll be Thursday morning at the indoor. It is closed to the public. It is so it is closed to the public. But we'll get a chance to be in there and watch a little bit of that, Eli.
Well, Eric, I think that does it for us. I would anticipate we'll be back with the podcast later this week, which you can always find Google, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And until then, Eric, I will see you back in Norman.